The District Court Kathmandu has given permission to Nepal police to issue arrest warrants against 3 former ministers allegedly involved in the infamous Lalita Niwas land scam. The court gave permission to arrest Nepali Congress leader and former Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Bijay Kumar Gachadar, along with former Land Reforms Minister duo Dambar Shrestha and Chandradev Joshi. The Central Bureau CIB of Nepal Police is currently investigating the Lalita Niwas land scam. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Pressure mounts again on corruption watchdog CIA to carry out investigations on the Lalita Niwas land scam after Supreme Court's verdict. Main opposition CPI-NUML agrees with the ruling alliance on distribution of leaderships of parliamentary committees but denies to end parliament obstruction. Garbage pile-up in big cities due to incompetency of 3 tiers of government. Garbage being dumped at rivers and streams due to lack of dumping sites. And Australia blank Denmark 2-0 to advance into the FIFA Women's World Cup quarter-finals. England also book a place in the last 8, defeating Nigeria 4-2 in a penalty shootout. It has been more than 5 years since the investigation on the land scam of Lalita Niwas in Baluatar started. After carrying out a year-long investigation on the Lalita Niwas land scam, the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority filed a case at the Special Court on 5th of February 2020. The anti-corruption body CIA filed a charge sheet against 175 individuals, accusing them of their involvement in illegally registering the government land of Lalita Niwas under the names of various individuals. Those alleged of involvement in registering 142 roponins of land under personal names include 6 ministers, 12 secretaries, 17 joint secretaries, Chief Secretary Leelamani Podil, Supreme Court Justice Kumar Regmi and High Court Judges Ramesh Thakal and Binod Prasad Podil. Then Prime Ministers Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattarai had endorsed the decision to transfer of the names through the meetings of the Council of Ministers. Although the corruption watchdog CIA had filed cases against 175 individuals, it dropped the case against former Prime Ministers Nepal and Bhattarai as well as former Chief Secretary Podil, citing lack of jurisdiction. CIA did not file cases against Justice Regmi and Judges Thakal and Podil either. A former chairperson of the special court says that actions should be taken right away against all the involved individuals following the Supreme Court's directive yesterday directing the government to probe cabinet members if their involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam is suspected. The government land of Lalita Niwas was transferred to various individuals in 4 phases since the Nepalese year 2049 as per the plannings of land mafias. Around 53 roponins of land was registered under personal names in the Nepalese year 2067 and 69, citing expansion of the residence for special government officials, among other reasons. The CIA, which had filed cases against former Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Bijay Kumar Gachadar, former Land Reforms Minister duo Dambar Shrestha and Chandradev Joshi, and former Chief Secretary Leelamani Podil for their role in helping the cabinet take the decision, later dropped the cases against the former Prime Ministers and former Chief Secretary, citing lack of jurisdiction. The Central Bureau of Nepal Police CIB is currently investigating the scam. The CIB, which had already arrested 20 individuals linked with the Lalita Niwas land scam, can now arrest other individuals that were in the then government who had played their role in the land scam following the Supreme Court directive. The Supreme Court yesterday issued a directive to the government to probe into cabinet decisions taken regarding the Lalita Niwas land scam in Baluatar. The directive has paved way for launching a probe into everyone who had played role in transferring the Lalita Niwas land in the name of private individuals. As per the directive, then Prime Ministers Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattarai would also be investigated now. The Panchayat-era government had taken the Lalita Niwas land from the family of Subarna Samsher Rana by providing compensation. The government land was then registered under various individuals' names on different dates through decisions by the Council of Ministers. The Supreme Court's directive to the government yesterday to carry out investigation on the decision taken by the cabinet has facilitated to book all the culprits involved in the scam. The Supreme Court has raised questions on why investigation was not carried out on the decision taken by high-level officials who had breached the law by creating a nexus with middlemen. With the recent directive of the Supreme Court, the investigation on the land scam seems to be back on track. The Central Bureau, CIB of Nepal Police, is currently investigating the Lalita Niwas land scam at a time when there was confusion on whether to take action against individuals who were involved in the decision taken by the Council of Ministers. The Supreme Court's directive has opened the door to carry out investigation to book the guilty. The Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police CIB has formed a committee under the leadership of Superintendent of Police Sanjay Singh Thapa to probe into the 100 kilograms gold smuggling. The Department of Revenue Investigation had, following a directive from the government, handed over the responsibility to CIB. The department also handed over relevant documents to Nepal Police 20 days after the incident. CIB Chief Kiran Bajracharya formed the committee under Thapa's leadership. The police have the authority to keep in custody those arrested in allegation of involvement in the case for 60 days for probe. However, as the Department of Revenue Investigation kept those arrested in custody for 20 days already, the committee now has 40 days left to investigate on them before submitting a report to the Office of the Government Attorney. 18 individuals have so far been arrested in connection with the case, including 3 foreign nationals of Chinese, Indian and Belgian nationalities. One of the arrested has received bail on health reasons, while 17 others are in the Bureau's custody. The session of the House of Representatives called for today was adjourned as a consensus could not be reached between the Speaker and leaders of 3 main parties. A notice was issued after the main opposition CPI-UML remained firm on the demand of the formation of high-level committee to probe into the gold smuggling. The session has been called for tomorrow. In the first round of talks today, Speaker Ghimire had failed to convince either side for a consensus, following which leaders had hinted at next round of meeting after holding intra-party discussions. The second round meeting held in the afternoon in Parliament building also failed to reach a conclusion. Parties of the ruling coalition have been arguing that a separate committee was unnecessary, saying that the state mechanism was already looking into the case. Parties are to meet again tomorrow with the Speaker to find a headway. The current stalemate has obstructed the parliamentary proceedings for 2 weeks now, which other parties at the parliament have criticized the government for. Meanwhile, parties have concluded their equation at the thematic committees, with Nepali Congress taking the leadership of 4 committees, UML 3, Maoist Center 2 and Unified Socialist, Janata Samajwadi and Janamat 1 each. The Parliament Secretariat has said the process of appointment of committee chairs will begin at the earliest. In our Public Voice segment, today we've asked people in several provinces what they think of the trend of appointing controversial individuals to higher positions. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
गरिबहरुले चाहिँ भनौं अब केही काम गरे पनि तिनीहरुलाई कानुन लाग्ने नेताहरुले जे गरे पनि अब तिनीहरुलाई केही पनि नहुने अब यो त राम्रो लाग्यो हैन
भ्रष्ट र नराम्रो मान्छेहरुलाई दिएर देश विकास कसरी हुन्छ
विश्व समाजमा देशको छविलाई नबिगाड्नु त्यस्तो छवि मान्छेलाई चाहिँ नै नियुक्ति दिए राम्रो हुन्छ
जो राम्ररी काम गर्छ उहाँले ठुलो पोस्टमा गर्नुपर्ने
आफू पनि गलत भएको हुनाले उनीहरुले त्यस्तै प्रवृत्तिका मान्छेहरुलाई विभिन्न दलहरुले सबैले अगाडि सार्ने मेन कारण नै
सम्झौताका आधारमा यस्ता व्यक्तिहरुलाई विभिन्न लाभांश लिने पदहरुमा नियुक्ति गरे जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ
यो प्रविधि भनेको चरम राजनीतिक शक्तिको दुरुपयोग हो आफू टिक्नको लागि र आफू रहिरहनको लागि चाहिँ यो खराब किसिमको गतिविधिलाई चाहिँ अब अगाडि निरन्तरता गरिरहेको
निर्दोष साबित गर्न सकेको खण्डमा चाहिँ उहाँहरुलाई चाहिँ दिनुपर्छ फेरि पनि चान्स दिनुपर्छ सिक्ने मौका दिनुपर्छ
कतैबाट नाता पर्ने कारणले पनि कतिपय व्यक्तिहरु उही व्यक्तिहरु राजनीतिक नियुक्तिमा पर्दै आएका छन्
नेताहरुकै स्वार्थको कारणले गर्दा
लाजमर्दो कुरा हो यस्तो चाहिँ नगर्दा ठीक हुने थियो
राजनीतिको पार्टीहरुलाई अब जे गर्दा नि हुन्छ भन्ने छ
आरोप प्रमाणित भएकालाई पनि अहिले दिएको देखिन्छ बिल्कुल यस्तो काम गर्नु हुँदैन यसले गर्दा राजनीतिक पार्टीहरुको छवि गिर्दै गएको छ
निर्वाचन खर्च उठाउनका लागि बिचौलिया आफू अनुकूलको मान्छे आफू नजिकको मान्छे राजनीतिक भाडा गर्न नियुक्ति गर्ने प्रक्रिया
राम्ररी छानबिन गरेर अब के रहेछ त उसको वास्तविकता खोज्नु पर्छ
आफूलाई सपोर्ट होस् र भविष्यमा यो कुराहरु पनि लिक आउट नहोस् भन्नका लागि यस्ता खाली मान्छेलाई खोजी नियुक्ति दिइरहेको बुझिन्छ
All three tiers of governments in major cities like Pokhara, Janakpur, Nepalganj and Dhangadi have miserably failed in management of solid waste. From lacking dumping site to lapses in collection of waste, the government's indifference has tarnished the image of the cities while compelling the residents to live amid garbage. Since the international airport in Pokhara came into operation at the start of the year, the landfill site in Bache Badua was shifted temporarily to Lame Ahal. Locals in the region have obstructed the dumping of waste since Wednesday, saying that the initial agreement of bearing the waste with soil was not implemented. Streets in Pokhara, which is dubbed as the tourism capital of the country at the moment, have been piled in wastes. This has also raised the risk of locals contracting water and airborne various diseases. Janakpur, popular as cultural and religious hub of the country, shares a similar story at the lack of a secure dumping site. The sub-metropolis has said it has logged a 30 biga land for lease to use as a landfill site. The sub-metropolis at the moment is collecting but dumping waste near river banks arbitrarily. The scenario is similar in Nepalganj and Dhangadi sub-metropolis in Sudur Pashchim, where solid waste management has failed to establish landfill sites. Meanwhile, Birganj in recent time has better managed solid waste in recent time since the establishment of dumping sites some 4 years ago. The metropolis has coordinated with private sector to create a 3-stage waste management system across 32 wards. The metropolis has also been exemplary in implementing punishments to those who dump waste arbitrarily. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Poll.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we'd asked you what could be the reason for lesser number of female ward chairpersons at local levels. 53% voted for option A, not mandatory, 32% for B, indifference of parties, and 15% for C, lack of public pressure. And here's today's question. Why has the problem of garbage management in big cities not resolved? Your options are A, lack of coordination, B, leadership without plans, and C, lack of public awareness. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the international update. Russia and Ukraine carried out the latest in a series of prisoner exchanges today, with 22 Ukrainian soldiers returning home. Andriy Yermak, the head of the President Volodymyr Zelensky's office, posted a video on Telegram showing soldiers wrapped in blue and yellow Ukrainian flags posing for pictures and shouting "Glory to Ukraine." Ukraine's coordinating headquarters for the treatment of prisoners of war posted footage of a wounded soldier thanking for his release. East Timor's recently elected Prime Minister Xanana Gusmao has said his country won't join the Association of Southeast Asian Nations (ASEAN) before the bloc resolves the crisis in Myanmar. Gusmao made the comments following a meeting with East Timor President Jose Ramos Horta, who said today he was hoping his country would join ASEAN by 2025 the latest. ASEAN agreed in principle to allow East Timor to join the bloc last year, more than a decade after the country had requested membership. ASEAN includes Myanmar among its 10 members, has pushed without success for the implementation of a 5-point peace plan agreed with the junta shortly after the coup in early 2021. Myanmar's generals have been barred from the bloc's meetings over their failure to honor a 2-year-old peace deal which has tested ASEAN's unity. Russia is to launch its first lunar landing spacecraft in 47 years on Friday this week in a race with India to the south pole of the moon, a potential source of water to support a future human presence in there. The launch from the Vostochny Cosmodrome, 5,550 kilometers east of Moscow, will take place 4 weeks after India sent up its Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander, due to touchdown at the pole on 23rd of August. Rough terrain makes the landing there difficult, but the South Pole is a prized destination because scientists believe it may hold significant quantities of ice that could be used to extract fuel and oxygen, as well as for drinking water. Now, Ukraine's coat of arms replaced a Soviet-era hammer and sickle plate on Kiev's largest monument this week. It was a cultural shift towards a stronger Ukrainian self-identity, accompanied by a recent political tilt towards the West, that infuriated Russian President Vladimir Putin and was used in part as his justification for invading Ukraine. Kyiv says the invasion is an imperial mission to recreate the Soviet Union. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.